The Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. As we get set to watch the SEC on ESPN, the land of the Tiger, LSU, and the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, the PMAC. As today the Tigers and Will Wade host those guys, the Tennessee Volunteers, playing pretty bouncy lately. 14-4, 7-4, coming off one of their better efforts of the year. And the Tigers are going to have to deal with Jimmy Dykes, who's now going to tell us all about the young Cubs, these guys for Tennessee that have been leading them recently.
Well, Tennessee's back-to-back 80-point games because the two freshmen, Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer, have been outstanding. Keon Johnson the other night, good googly goo on everybody. Just as vicious of a cut and as good of a finish as I've seen in college ball this year. He can absolutely put pressure on the rim as well as anyone we have out there. His running buddy right now, Ravi, Jaden Springer. Back-to-back terrific games as well. He is just a monster in that mid-post for a guard. Rick Barnes has those two guys now not only driving the paint but driving to the rim. There's a big difference in those two areas, and with those two guys, hard to guard. Look at those last two ball games. What they have done with Tennessee's offense has me thinking that Tennessee once again has that Elite 8 type potential. The offense is there to go with that top 3 defense.
A little more aggressive on the other side. You got to slow down Cameron Thomas if you're going to have a real chance against LSU.
Yeah, it's not easy to do. This kid can just go get buckets for you. Can create his own shot as well as anyone in college ball, not just in that freshman class. Comes into the game as the #3 scorer in the country. He wakes up thinking, where is my next shot attempt?
So we've gotten used to seeing John Fulkerson in the starting lineup for Tennessee, and for the first time this season, John Fulkerson is not going to start. They have gone a little younger, a little more athletic with E. Pond. The last game due to a knee injury, jumping center, and he's going to be surrounded by Josiah Jordan-James, Springer, Johnson, and Santiago Vescovi, and it's the Orange that control the tip.
And Ravi, that Tennessee starting lineup, though, they've only played 82 possessions this year, but 97 points, almost 1.2 points per possession for these 5 guys in orange.
Pond's paint work, and his fadeaway won't go. A couple of Volunteers try to tip it in and couldn't. Take a look at LSU starting 5 as Cam Thomas finds a wide open Darius Days underneath.
One of the top 6 offenses in college ball, this team in white. And they don't have a lot of 3, 4, 5 pass possessions. They are quick hitters. Their conversion offense at times extremely quick.
Hands there. They're active from Trenton Watford, the sophomore out of Birmingham, Alabama, the big guy on this LSU team. He stands 6'9", 240. To Jimmy's point, they don't waste a lot of time on offense. They don't seem overly concerned with the defensive side. They try to outscore teams.
The biggest issue for LSU defensively is guarding the ball. And it's really at all 5 spots is where they have breakdowns.
Ooh, long bomb from Springer that finds the bottom, and what a night Jaden Springer had the other night when he exploded for a career-high 30 against Georgia.
Just completely changes how the floor looks offensively when 11 is on the floor. 11-45. Those two freshmen, McDonald's All-Americans, earned their way in the starting lineup, and Rick Barnes has done a good job of keeping slow pressure on them, saying you have to produce right now.
Andre Hyatt starts for LSU, number 15. We will see Mwani Wilkinson as a long 3 is drained again. That looked like Days. Javante Smart, I should say. 5-3 LSU here early.
And Tennessee's 3-point defense, Ravi, the last 4 ball games, no opponent has made over 26%. That's how good Tennessee has been defending that 3.
That's Keon Johnson stepping into his jump shot. You know, the idea, Jimmy, that the freshmen are playing well now, it seems almost as if it's taken them this long to get there. Straight take and an easy layup for Javante Smart. But Rick Barnes will tell you it's always been our plan. We've wanted them to be aggressive and play aggressive, and he steps out of bounds being aggressive.
Yeah, it's just taking time for those Tennessee freshman guards to understand, attack the rim. Don't just settle for getting 2 feet in the paint. That last offensive possession for LSU, Vescovi sends the guy left, and there's no help defense. Actually, Tennessee runs away from the ball. And just a one-on-one blow-by by Javante Smart, a big, strong, physical guard.
Watford works into the paint, throws up a runner that goes off the rim twice before it falls to the side. Vescovi, who LSU and Will Wade have nightmares over because his debut was against LSU, like his college debut, and he lit up the Tigers in his first game. No one had really known who Santiago Vescovi was. Now in his sophomore year and far more established. Thomas, that's a three, that's too long, and that leads to a run out for Tennessee. Springer to the hole, in and out. That finds the bottom. He had 7 points against Mississippi State. All came in the first 4 minutes of the second half. Only his 7th career start.
Yeah, a good job by Cam Thomas not to force a tough two, get the ball reversed. If you don't get ball reversal against Tennessee's defense, you will be taking guarded shots for the next 2 hours.
A good move by Springer, but he ran into 2 other Tigers, so it was a 1-on-3 shot, and he came up short.
And just watching Will Wade, watch Will Wade when they got that defensive rebound. He's literally sprinting up the sidelines as far as he can to the 28-foot mark, sending a message to everybody. We want to go in this game. He understands not to go against that Tennessee set defense.
There's Fulkerson into the game. He got ahead of the floor. You wonder what's sitting to start the game, what the impact will have on Fulkerson. He's got 2 here within the first 30 seconds of being on the floor.
Yeah, well, you consider he's only scored 4 points in the last 2 games, Fulke. So Rick Barnes says, you know what, I'm going to try something different with you. And the energy level of Fulke early right now, a really good thing for Rick Barnes.
Vescovi's first 3, that's out. And a good rebound by Hyatt there on the defensive end. That's going to be a key, according to Will Wade, how we rebound, especially on the defensive end. Tennessee will crash to try to get some offensive glass work in. They're going to have to defend as Watford penetrates, and he'll kick. That's a wide open 3, and it's a miss.
Yeah, Tennessee's so good at guarding the elbows and fighting that white line defensively.
Thomas couldn't control that fastball from Javante. See, slows it down a little bit. Tennessee
is a very physical screening team, and if the white jerseys aren't going to fight through screens in this ball game, team in orange will get some really good looks.
Tennessee's taken 10 shots already in this game. They've made only 3 of them as Watford drives Fulkerson, and he gets that layup to go off the window. Good take.
Yeah, an absolute monster is Watford in the middle third of the floor. I think you're going to see LSU attack Tennessee a lot in that part of the floor because when the ball's on the side, Tennessee is so good, man, at overloading to the ball. LSU's best offense today could come for that middle third.
Springer was open on the baseline, didn't see him. Instead, Johnson launches another, and he misses it. Good rebound on the defensive glass by Days. Thomas, bumpy starts, missed a couple. Watford in the air, and a little fade is good. That athleticism by Jaden Springer. He got Trendon Watford, a shot blocker, into the air and waited for him to come down before he went up.
Yeah, Ravi, Springer and Johnson are really good now at running wide in their conversion offense and attacking from that 45-degree slot. They don't settle for much now. They catch that ball, and their nose is finding the rim.
Springer plays catch with Josiah Jordan-James. It's Vescovi into the lane. Had it knocked away. It stays with Tennessee. Isolation for Johnson. Fulkerson with Watford sneaking in from behind. That leaves a man open, and it's Vescovi. No good. Foul on the floor. We're going to keep it here. Foul on LSU's Andre Hyatt. 12-9 LSU early here. 13:06 to go. Tennessee 4 of 13 from the floor. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy, the official sponsor of Getting Stuff Done. Back with Jimmy Dykes after this. 12-9 LSU leading Tennessee. Neither team shooting well from 3. Tennessee 1 of 6, LSU 2 of 7. Darius Days had a big game against Mississippi State. Missed a game. Said we swung the ball really well. Look, Jimmy, Will Wade says this guy is a total difference maker for us. What I thought was interesting was after the game he said we swung it really well. Everybody was happy, which implies when the ball's moving, they're happy. When it's not moving, they can get a little surly, right? I mean, this is a team that's got to battle through those things when the ball isn't moving.
Well, think about this. LSU's 12-1 when Days hits double figures. That's how important that he is to this ball club. And Darius Days is a guy that is probably their best swinger and getting that ball moving side to side. Will Wade loves an isolation game. And when that isolation's working, they can win the one-on-one matchup. They're very difficult to defend. When that one-on-one is not working, they can become rough and stagnant.
That's a deflection and it ends up in the hands of just into the game now. Eric Gaines, 25. Alley-oop, no good, and around we go with Tennessee. Maybe early on, is this type of pace favor either team?
No, I think both are very comfortable running up and down this floor. So far, LSU, I know their defense is not outstanding. It's about as good as I've seen this year. They don't always have all 5 guys engaged on that end, but the ball pressure's been pretty good. Their help's been pretty good. And again, this is one of the top 6 offenses in the country. The question mark is not can they score, it's can they get enough stops. So far for LSU, really pretty decent.
Josh LeBlanc into the game. He wears 11. Milwaukee Wilkinson 0 into the game with Smart and Watford. And that one hangs on the rim and it goes.
I'm not so sure Smart can get away with an extra step there. And Tennessee icing that ball, and Smart just said, fine, you ice me, I'll take it. Very aggressive LSU is at those one-on-one spots. Smart, Days, Watford, Thomas, Ravi, they can all and will just go by and make it a one-on-one game. And Rick Barnes knows it. Can they guard the ball today? It's probably number 1A and 1B on the scouting report.
6th season at Tennessee. He's a program changer. Of course, had Kevin Durant at Texas. Wasn't comparing Durant to anybody, but he did talk about Durant's freshman impact, and he looked at what Springer's done lately, what Keon Johnson can do. Watford and Pons, that's a tough matchup. Watford forced it. Good defense by 35 in orange.
Yeah, Pons has the strength and the quickness to stay up with Watford. Watford again, man. He is shot 4 times in a row before he thinks pass. And he's not the only one on this LSU team that kind of plays offense with that mentality.
He just knocked down his first 3. Oh, wild shot that was thrown up, and not a good shot from Victor Bailey. Ran out of options, so he threw it up over his head. Devontae Smart's off to a good start.
No idea what Victor Bailey was thinking on that offensive possession. LSU will switch a lot of 1 through 5.
Had to take it away. He was just standing there. The ball wasn't moving. And that's not a great pass, but good hands for the big guy, Watford. So if I said to you, Jimmy, get inside the head of Victor Bailey on that last possession, you wouldn't be able to find anything in there?
No, there's no answer there. There's the hollow air going through because he completely predetermined what he was going to do. And those kind of possessions just in mid-February when you're grinding away like every team is, hard to account for.
Boy, Wilkinson, they ran out of time. I think he thought Javonte Smart was going to end up shooting it. But Smart, Jimmy's off to a great start. He's making Will Wade look smart. Up 4, he's got 9.
Yeah, big, strong, physical guard that you have to have an early pickup point on him. Get him to one side of the floor, not let him work down the pipes. Javonte Smart looking good.
basketball across all the networks, highlighted by a couple of ACC matchups on ESPN and the app. Duke and NC State kick it off at 4 Eastern time. And then how about the Cavaliers of Virginia? Bennett's got them playing great again. They've won 9 of their last 10, hosting 12-6 North Carolina in Charlottesville. Defense and the bigs difference for Virginia. They move into the top 10. That's at 6 Eastern time, part of our Saturday showcase.
Ravi, Tony Bennett always figures it out. And that's what you want your point guard to be able to do, too, within the game. Javonte Smart kind of has that tendency. But, man, Tony Bennett, he does it every year with a humble spirit, gracious.
Right.
Tremendous culture. You know who else has great culture? How about Loyola? They go against a top 20 team today on the road.
Yep.
And thump them. Cameron Krutwig, number 6 right now in Ken Palm's National Player of the Year race. That's getting ready for Sister Jean and the culture wall to be talked about a lot again in March. Man, what a performance by those guys today. Do what?
Do that again in March, right?
Absolutely.
They beat Drake 81-54 was the final in that game. Thomas, who's looking for his first basket, can't get that to go. So it's been the Smart show with 9. Thomas doesn't have a point yet. We're midway through the first half.
And that Tennessee offense now looks different with 11:45 back on it.
Good job.
Springer worked himself to the free throw line as he got hacked. Also into the game, E.J. Anasicki, 55 from Tennessee. LSU, who does not, by their own admission, guard very well. They have created 5 turnovers against Tennessee. LSU's only committed 3.
And interesting when you dig inside the numbers of LSU, their true, pure half-court defense really is not that bad. The numbers aren't that bad. Where they get into a problem, LSU, their transition defense and their defensive board play is why they are looked at as one of the bottom teams in the SEC defensively. This game goes on, man. It is an absolute war, Ravi, to win the elbow touch. Both teams are determined to get there. And Tennessee very determined to keep LSU off of that spot. It's the game within the game right now.
Springer, a 75% free throw shooter, knocked down both, so it's a 2-point LSU advantage.
Cam Thomas working on those pin downs, and he will not give this thing up without searching for that shot.
You got Springer in the air. He's going to go to the free throw line as Cam Thomas, as we talked about off the top. Coming off a game in which he had 25 against Mississippi State, hit 9 of 16. Point's been made, Jimmy, whether you agree with it. Let's find out. If he were at Kentucky, if he were at Duke, if he were at a major national program, would he be in a different conversation, perhaps with the guys like Luka Garza? Would he be talked about that way?
Well, not all those programs are going to allow a guy to come in and take 20 shots a night. And as much as I love Cam Thomas, he also is in a system right now that his set of rules he plays with a little different, not only than everybody else on his team, but a lot of guys in college ball. The one thing I love about this kid, Ravi, he's number 2 in the nation to start the day with 117 made free throws. So he just uses that big, strong body just to will himself in to the offensive action.
6'4", 210, a run out and an easy shot that's not converted for Anasicki. Easy layup, but he missed it.
Yeah, Tennessee terrific with a press breaker. One pass and go. Make your layups, make your free throws. Check the film. Determines the outcome of games.
Thomas hits a 3, looking for more. He didn't get the foul call, but he knocks that one down. And after a couple of free throws, maybe the basket gets a little bigger for 24.
Yeah, he doesn't need it to be much bigger. Okay, this is a guy that can absolutely go on a 9, 10, 11-0 run all by himself, as well as anyone in the country.
Baseline jumper, no good for Johnson. So all the shots that were dropping in their last game, including their fast break points, in which they had 22, which were a season high, not so quick for Tennessee to start this one. Thomas, he ran into 2 Tennessee defenders and had nowhere to go. That's a floater from Johnson, no good. Pons goes up high, and it's Anasicki who comes away with it.
Yeah, the Rhinoceros, 55 in orange. Anasicki just 2 or 3 plays a game, just bullies people around the rim.
Springer. Did he get hit on the arm? He did. Late call there. Pat Adams, who came in. So we'll go to the free throw line and head to our 8-minute break. Cam Thomas has showed up. 21-14. And it's going to keep people glued to the halftime report.
Well, this is what came out today. The NCAA is saying, here's our preliminary rankings. And look at those ball clubs right there. Rav, I want you to think about it like this. If you're warming up during a game and you look to the other end, what teams would give you a little bit of fear if you're looking down the other way? I mean, there's 4 of them to me in all of college ball. Gonzaga would give me some fear if I'm getting ready to play them. Baylor, I would have a little bit of hesitation getting ready to play Baylor because they can just come at you on both ends. You know the other 2 teams? Alabama, because they're capable of knocking down 23s if their game is on and they're healthy, and still Iowa. Those are only 4 teams I would really fear if I'm warming up as an assistant coach or a player. I look the other end. Iowa, obviously, because of Garza, and do we have a guy or 2 guys or 3 that can hold up to that monster for 40 minutes? Those are the 4 teams that me can strike some fear in.
All right, I like that. I mean, it's a difference. One of the differences between me and you. Like, I looked at the opponent and never did I have that emotion of fear, but that's understandable. That's fine. That's okay. You know, that's a good team down there, but I'm not going to be afraid. But that's fine. I understand. We all kind of compartmentalize our feelings differently about the opponent. Tell you who strikes fear into you if you're a defender is this guy, because there's not a shot that Cameron Thomas won't take. You saw he got Johnson in the air and got another foul on him.
Well, there's a lot of things about this guy's game that are unique. First of all, his pop, his elevation, and his jump shot is as high and as consistent as I've seen. And you watch him in this ball game, when he gives it up, talking about 24 and white, he will give it up and immediately start calling for the ball back. He's a hungry, hungry dude, wanting the ball and trying to find the rim.
They didn't see him, but James had an alley-oop on the baseline. They missed that. This game is, you can just feel, we are seconds away from a Tennessee loud alley-oop dunk. In spite of the turnovers they've had, that baseline's wide open. They'll eventually, I think, take advantage of it once. But so far, they've turned it over a handful of times. Not shooting particularly well, and having a hard time in the paint. Brendan Watford knocks that down.
I said it in the first 2 minutes of the game. And Trenton Watford in the middle part of the floor is LSU's best or second best offense in this game. He's 6'9", he's got guard handles. He can bounce it 3 or 4 times, he can spin on you, and in that part of the floor, the help is kind of taken away. Tennessee doesn't come with full body help, they come with hand help. Trenton Watford says, thank you very much.
Buddy Jimmy Dykes, happy Valentine's Day to you and the family as we celebrate Valentine's Day this weekend, Jimmy Dykes. And so far, Thomas 7 and Smart 9. They account for 16 of the 25. Tennessee has 16 overall. And right now, Tennessee shoot 29% from the floor, 5 of 19. I want to ask you, we've seen the offensive abilities of the freshmen Johnson and Springer. Does offense come easier than defense, especially for freshmen at this level?
Well, it's usually tied both ways, Ravi. It's so hard when you're actually in a system that's well drilled on both ends, and Rick Barnes doesn't let his guys off the hook on either end. Initially, those 2 5-star freshmen, Springer and Johnson, got on the floor because they would stick their nose in the opponent's jersey and say, Coach, I got my guy, don't worry about me. Their offensive development has grown, especially Springer. You watch his game a month ago to where he is now, number 11 in orange, a completely different player.
You're right there, Jimmy. You're going to have you, before we go to the half, come up with a whiteboard segment on what you would tell your defense. The isolation in that drive, the help from Tennessee doesn't appear to be there very much right now.
No, you're reading my mind as a good assistant coach. And Tennessee's inability to guard the ball, but I like what LSU's done offensively now. They're not keeping that ball just stuck in the middle third. They're getting it side to side and then coming back to finish the possession off. And Watford right now feeling like he can drive anybody he wants wearing an orange jersey, and that is a problem for Rick Barnes.
The highs and lows of the season. Think about what Watford did. He returned to form against Mississippi State, went 7 of 14, scored 14 points, but his prior 2 games against Texas Tech and Alabama, he was 5 of 24 overall. So number 2 seems to be back in form for LSU has got a chance to make a statement here with a victory at home against Tennessee.
Ravi, it's as active and as engaged and as tough as LSU's been this season defensively. It has gone the last 2 possessions. He's come with a half-court press is what it is. And then they've scrambled well out of it. The lag time has not been long. Really good defense by LSU.
That's Fulkerson's shot. Pons gets the offensive rebound. He's double-teamed. Gets it to Fulkerson. That's a Vescovi 3. No good. Another offensive rebound after a good battle from Josiah Jordan James.
LSU really putting Tennessee in a crowd. There it is again, man. 3 guys surround that ball. You've got to make some open jump shots if you're Tennessee in this game.
Yeah, and they're not making open jump shots at all in this game, in this first half. Smart, low by Vescovi, too easy.
That is what you tell your point guard in transition. Find the elbow. Let the elbow determine what you're going to do next with that ball. You don't approach that elbow like it's a stop sign. You approach the elbow like it's a yield sign. Let the traffic dictate what you do from there.
Now Smart seeing only green lights in Tennessee from the floor. 5 of 24 now. Boy, the shooting has been off. Good hustle from behind on the steal is Darius Days. You're right, Jimmy. They are active on the defensive end.
Yeah, it shows you the potential that LSU has, and the fight and the scrap, and LSU's winning all the crowded plays in this game. So, Ravi, if you are Will Wade, you have, I don't know, 12, 14 minutes on tape right now that you can say, why are we not this every game? There is no correct answer from all of you. Why are we not this every game? Because they have shown, first 16 minutes of this game, more than capable defensively of fighting, more than capable defensively of cleaning up a miss, more than capable of winning the crowded plays. Can you do it back-to-back games? In this game, can you do it back-to-back halves? We'll find out. That's a problem.
Days wide open 3. It was set up nicely, but it's a miss.
That is the mismatch guy that Will Wade has, 4 in white. Darius Days completely changes LSU's team when he's on the floor.
Johnson stepped right into that one and knocked it down. Smart, I thought he got away with a walk. He landed before he put that ball up. It was blocked on the other end anyway. Good pass, and there's a flush.
Did you see how tough Springer was driving that ball through traffic and covering up and still having the soft hands to go from covering up like a running back to delivering it softly? That's some unique stuff, man.
Olivier Kamwa into the game. He was on the receiving end of that dish. And lead now 7. Thomas, tough, double teamed. Kicks and Days just missed his last one. He buries that one.
That's the problem. When you come off of Days and double team that ball because you're concerned about Thomas, Days is just going to stand out there. He is a catch and shoot guy, Days. He's not going to put that ball on the floor into a shot.
Tennessee's starting to warm, and it's Johnson back-to-back threes. He's up to 8 in the game, and here you are with the 2 freshmen. Johnson and Springer combined for 17 of the 24.
LSU using a lot of double-up action. That time it was Watford and Days. Call it high horns, whatever. I call it double-up. And a lot of good stuff happens out of it.
Javonte Smart, no good from deep. While the rebound. Wide open, Fulkerson. All he had to do, it seemed like, Jimmy, turn around and lay it in. Instead, he kicked it for a 3.
I don't know if he thought he was too far into the rim or off balance, but I mean, you talk about wide open.
Springer, good dish. Fulkerson, good hands, too. Good catch.
What a pass, absolutely, because that was a hard-thrown ball below the waist of a big guy. And if you don't have a soft set of paws, you're going to fumble that thing when you're 6'9". The description of you, the catch by Fulkerson. Simple, but impressive. Jaden Springer bringing Tennessee back in this game. There it is, the cover up and the soft delivery to the rim cut. And watch again, Springer, boom, up, fire it fast, boom, get it, Folky. It wasn't quite below his waist, but still a hard pass.
Back here, 31-26. Volunteers on a 10-3 run since LSU had its biggest lead. When you watch the SEC, Jimmy, you know this. So LSU today has either made points in the paint, 7 field goals, or threes. That's kind of the Alabama recipe for success. We go in the paint, at the rim, or threes.
Cam Thomas was going to shoot that from the time they broke the huddle. He fought to get a touch. Tennessee took away his first and his second option, and he settled for a third option.
Johnson, baseline, met at the rim, and there is a ball out of bounds. Good defense that time by LSU, contesting the guy that had that massive dunk last week.
It's another play by LSU's defense, just refusing to let Tennessee operate in space. They are really talking about LSU doing a good job of running to the ball and making it a physical game.
Josh LeBlanc, speaking of physical, the Georgetown transfer with the block there. They're going to get Darius Days on a little reach foul.
And it's only the 4th team foul, though. It's not a horrible foul, with the exception of that Days' first or second.
Second personal foul on Days.
As poorly as Tennessee has shot, Ravi, as poorly as Tennessee shot it, only be down 5, 4, 3 at the half.
Yep.
Rick Barnes going to feel pretty good about it.
Six on the shot clock for Johnson. Step back. Off the iron, Watford, and LeBlanc battle for it.
Here Will Wade saying go at 12. That gives you time for an offensive rebound putback.
Thomas got stuck up in the air. Smart with 3, 2, step back. No good. They call a walk on him. I think that was the James Harden travel to set up the Puppies for the 3.
Yeah, really good call. When you do that step back, if you don't land on both feet at the same time, it is a walk violation that we don't get called enough in the college game. They may change that rule over the next couple of rule seasons, but not right now. Good call. You got time for a catch and a shot. Get it off. Or don't. Yeah, at least try, don't you?
Wait a minute. Where are we on that 1.3? So it's 31-26. Martin Thomas go for 18, where the rest of the team ends up with 13. Smart has 11, Thomas 7. So a 5-point game on your whiteboard. What else is Rick Barnes going to draw up for Tennessee to get back into it?
Here's one of the biggest issues for Tennessee at halftime. When they are driving the ball, the X's are running down and putting Tennessee in a crowd time and time again. You have to be strong with the ball, keep driving it, but LSU right now, the deflections in a crowd causing a problem for Tennessee, and Rick Barnes will talk about it.
We'll see what happens when the second half kicks off. First, though, the Chief halftime report. That means Reese Davis, the coach Seth Greenberg, and LaFonso Ellis. Back of the Bayou is the Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. The SEC on ESPN. In spite of a drought that lasted over 9 minutes without a field goal, Tennessee finds themselves down just 5, 31-26. Good first half for Monte Smart, 11 points on 5 of 9 shooting. Paint points, advantage LSU 14-8. Tennessee shoots 31% from the floor. From three-point land, LSU 33. This is an LSU team, Jimmy Dykes, that averages about 81 points a game. They've got 31, and Cameron Thomas has 7, but he has not shot well, 1 of 6 from the floor.
Yeah, Tennessee's defense on Cam Thomas has been really, really good. Keon Johnson has missed shots. Springer kind of gave him a little bit of a burst, especially when you look at Springer has 5 assists in the game. That's kind of when Tennessee fought their way back in this thing. That Tennessee Vol Twitter, man, that group is so strong. Their biggest question to me at halftime, just kind of glancing through it, Jimmy, what's wrong with our offense? Well, the ball's getting stuck. It's not getting side to side. They're not being aggressive. They're not getting much out of their run game in transition. There's a lot of stuff there, but like I drew up going into halftime, you're going to have to play in a crowd if you're Tennessee today, and can you clean that part of the game up, because the white jerseys are running at you, making it a physical game.
LSU came out in a bit of a zone, then they modified it, went into a man-to-man. Jordan James will go to the free throw line. So you seem to have a nice relationship, kind of a give and give back with the Tennessee Vol Twitter family. Is that right?
They're strong. Yeah, they're really strong. Now, it's not that way with every team, but right now, Tennessee, my standing with Tennessee on Twitter,
solid.
It is all rock solid as a.
Solid as a rock. All right. How would you describe the relationship as we remind everybody that Carolina and Virginia square off at 6 Eastern time? KD, Kyrie, Harden, the Nets. You always wonder, like, who's playing for the Nets when they're playing. They get Steph and the Warriors. And then on ESPN Plus, pay-per-view at 10 Eastern time, UFC 258, the main card. That's your lineup for tonight. How would you describe your Twitter relationship? Let me throw, like, Arkansas Twitter out there. How's that?
Well, I'll answer it like this. Don't take criticism from someone that you wouldn't take advice from. I only take advice from 5 or 6 people, so that's right. The best way to answer that. It changes with a win or a loss. Keon Johnson, that's not what he did the other night at Georgia, but a little bit of a reflection of it, right?
Yeah, after a good play by Watford down the other end, it feels like those opportunities were there in the first half, and as you said, the ball just got stuck.
Yeah. There's this guy
Watford spin, good help that time from Keon.
Will Wade putting Watford in the slot and then letting me get to that middle third. Keon Johnson just comes flying in. And again, the white jerseys, though, Ravi, running at Springer. So you don't make a play in that crowd in terms of trying to force something. A really good read by Springer to find Johnson.
Tremendous vertical leap from Springer. It's easy, and there's a bad pass on the inbound, stolen by Tennessee. Vescovi. And there's another dunk. Back-to-back dunks for Tennessee.
Yeah, the conversion offense that we did not see, but a couple of times out of Tennessee in the first 20 minutes. We've already seen it a couple of times the first minute and a half. Double up drag. Dive and pop. Watford's your pop guy. Day's your dive guy.
Vescovi is got his arms all over Days. That's a Thomas 3. That's what you'd expect from him.
Ravi, you cannot let Thomas run into a handoff 3. You have to blow that play up, get on top of him. If he back cuts and makes a 2, so be it. But you cannot let him run into a handoff 3.
Usually can't let that guy shoot an open 3. Vescovi, who began his career at Tennessee with a 6 3-point field goal effort against LSU, knocks down a 3-point shot there. Good cut and good strong move by the big fella, Darius Days.
And Ravi, just so you know, you are one of the 5 or 6 people that I take advice from.
Oh. Okay, well, boy, that's a lot on my shoulders. I appreciate that. I would probably move me down on that list, but I do appreciate that.
Good start by Rick's club in the second 20 minutes. Stay aggressive. It hadn't gone your way. You shot the ball poorly. The only thing worse I've seen the past 24 hours of Tennessee shooting was me yesterday, paying $100 to have the gas fireplace fixed. And after 30 minutes, the guy hands me a bill for $100 and says, "Sir, your battery in your remote was out." That is a true story.
I defer to that guy all the time. A little shaky on gas fireplaces, to be honest.
Yeah, well.
Keon Johnson stepped into a three, no good, and Days with a good rebound. There's just no heat that comes off of a gas fireplace, Jimmy. How do you keep that big mansion of yours in Ark? How do you keep it warm?
You have a bad gas fireplace if you don't think there's heat involved. There's heat involved.
Have a gas fireplace.
Jumping up and knocking down shots.
Andre Hyatt, he's got 6.
White jerseys run at you, kick it out. Got to make shots.
Johnson, he was the only one who had a hand on it. It went off his body.
Yeah, LSU doesn't make a ton of threes, about 7 a ball game. Good job of getting the ball swung, and Hyatt just jumps up and shoots at that deep corner, man. Again, an understanding of a right-handed shooter not getting too deep on the right side, because if you do, you lose vision of about half the rim. Really good understanding by Hyatt.
Tough pass, and Fulkerson denied it. And that leads to an easy layup.
Ravi, Tennessee can get hot defensively. I know they come in with the top 3 teams overall in the defensive efficiency ratings, but they can get hot for 5 or 6 minute stretches on this end of the floor, about as well as anybody we have.
Thomas, he got hit. That's no good. Thought I heard a whistle, but I did not. So it's a missed 3 for Cam Thomas.
Cam Thomas kicks his legs trying to draw fouls as much as anybody in the SEC, and the officials are doing a good job of not going for that bait today.
Baseline, here he comes. That's an easy one for Thomas. Tennessee, Jimmy, they've had open threes. They've made 5 of them, but they've missed 11. 5 of 16. That's a big story of the game so far. Their inability to knock that open 3 down.
And they're going to continue to get the opportunities because, again, they're driving into the paint. The white jerseys are making it a foot race to the ball, and you have to be able to make the next pass.
Tough shot.
Yeah. Tough, bad, hard. Keep on describing it. That's what it was. He's going to shoot
Thomas, it. Yeah, he thought about it. Vescovi hung with him. You're right. Can see that.
I'm going to shoot it here again.
Nope, he gives it to Days. He splashes down a 3. Darius Days. He's got 10 now.
I love Darius Days because he's all about winning. And again, he is a spot-up catch-and-shoot guy. You cannot let 4 shoot the ball without dribbling it first. And a big basket.
Vescovi, quick release. He gets another 3 to fall. His 3rd of the game. 3 of 7. Is Santiago Vescovi from 3.
Tennessee can't shy away from taking those open threes. They don't want to ball fake a clean 3 in this game. Catch it, shoot it, let it fly. Keep driving that paint, forcing the white jerseys to respect that bounce.
Keon Johnson bowled right into Cam Thomas. That's going to be a foul. Keon Johnson, 14-15 to go. LSU maintaining a 6-point lead. That is a drawing of Joe Lunardi. Not sure Joe's going to love it, but it's cute. It's Joe Lunardi. We'll get into some bracketology on how many SEC teams he has getting into the Big Dance. Championship week starts March 3rd. You take a look at bracketology, and Joe Lunardi's got Alabama as the 2, Tennessee at 3, Missouri. Big game from Missouri today. Florida, Arkansas, and LSU rounded out. By the way, Kentucky, obviously not seen there given how they've played, get a win today, 82-80 over Auburn. Jimmy Dykes, what do you make of this? And is there another team that could sneak in here?
You know, I got my eye on Kermit Davis's Ole Miss Rebels. They got some ways to go, but they have a huge game. I think in a couple of weeks coming up at Missouri. They put it on Missouri early this week. Don't discount Ole Miss quite yet. The way they're playing, man, that defense and playing with that chip on their shoulder, Middle Tennessee State, we got something to prove mentality that Kermit brought with him when he took that job. Rabbi Cam Thomas has a 90-minute workout routine every single day outside of practice. This is a guy that has his...
Let me guess. It involves 90 minutes, 400 shots.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he's serious about the game, man. He studies it. He is all about ball.
James, that's one that goes down for him. He struggled a little bit from 3. He had been 0 for 4 before that one falls.
Rabbi, sometime the game determines what you have to do, and this may be a game that Tennessee takes 25, 26 threes. That's not who they are, but because of LSU's defense, you're going to have to continue to knock down those open looks without hesitation.
Great touch from Watford on the baseline.
Hard to guard, isn't it? 6'9", you can bounce it like that, and you can go either shoulder and then quick, and a high release. Got him.
Great block, because there was some help from Josh LeBlanc. Look out, Smart was lost, and he had the trailer who was there. Way downtown goes Thomas. Oh, Watford had a chance. Look at him, he's frustrated with himself. Had a chance to come down with it and put it back in.
Thomas shot that from the X in Cox.
And Springer left wide open.
Springer's having a game, man. 14 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. I mean, he could get real close to a triple-double before this thing's over.
And a good job by you reading the letters on the floor for Cox. That's the X that he was shooting from. I see you now. Nothing gets by Jimmy Dykes. Nothing.
It's just a lot of film study, man, to make sure you got everything covered. Good runner.
Good play by Smart.
Really good runner. Hard shot made it look easy, Javonte Smart. What a performance by him so far in this game. Is it 13, 14 points now?
13.
No.
Look out, Fulkerson gets the back right on Thomas. And it's been a struggle for Bailey. He hasn't gotten a lot of time so far in this game, only 8 minutes, but we've seen a couple of odd shots. An air ball there in that first shot in the first half.
And you'll get less time if you take my shot, not our shot. And that time, that offense didn't have time to work at all. And Victor Bailey just says, you know what, I'm going to see if I can get one to drop right here. And Rick Barnes typically has not a lot of patience with those type plays as 10 and orange sits.
Springer, good ball fake. High arcer, no good. And here comes Smart from the free throw line to grab the rebound. Saw Vescovi, blew by him, laid it up and in. You're right, that's that green light right at that free throw line he saw.
Yeah, Javonte Smart, it's not by accident where he's driving that ball 75 feet away. He gets in the slot early and attacks that slot for 4 or 5 dribbles. And if you're not there to take it away, it's money for him as a finisher.
Bailey keeps shooting. He missed that 3. He's 0 for 3.
Look at him again. Brought that thing up to the slot.
Smart, too easy, and he got banged by Bailey, who will likely go to the bench after this timeout. And we'll send Smart to the free throw line.
Tennessee's elbow defense today, Rabbi, has not been what they typically are. Whether it's been in conversion defense or the half court, Javonte Smart being wise with a shake. You don't full body help. Javonte Smart gets his shoulders in front of yours. Bailey taking bad shots and getting beat off the bounce. That's a bad combination.
Equals the bench. Now Jimmy Luck goes on during a break. Production values high for Javonte Smart and you right here.
Javonte Smart, he's waiting for no one in this game. He has been so good getting downhill between the pipes. And I love what Will Wade's done with his offense today. He's staying away from side attacks because of Tennessee's so good at loading up to the ball, keeping that ball in the middle third. And Javonte Smart has gotten there time and time again. A guy that only finished about 50% of his shots at the rim last year. Rabbi, now he's up in that mid-60s, and really good improvement at rim finishing for Javonte Smart from last year to now.
He's got 18. He waits for no one. It's kind of like you with the fireplace repair. Most people are waiting 2 to 3 weeks. You get it done in an hour.
right now. Yep. Yes, sir, Mr. Dykes. I'll be there.
It's 100 to show up, and then after that we'll just tack on.
What was
and there's
this?
A bad mistake from Tennessee.
When you consider the high
sorts,
in
Jimmy,
Arkansas,
you can see that.
Ravi, the high temperature in Arkansas, where I live, on Monday, the high is going to be 4. The low is -7. Something's not right with the world.
Well, this is going to test your every day I run outside for 3 hours. I don't know how you're going to do that on Monday.
It's going to be colder in Fayetteville, Arkansas on Monday than it is at the North Pole. Think about that.
They use wood-burning stoves up there, though. They don't rely on the old gas fireplace. Smart, open, no good that time. And Johnson comes away with it.
Tennessee's got to get some points in transition. Their half-court offense has been bottled down in this game. Can they score off their defense now with halfway through the second half? This guy's got to get going too, right?
He has the ability. It looked like he had gone up for a dunk from the top of the E on SEC, and he didn't get to the rim.
And you wonder where Yves Pons is physically with that right knee. He missed the game on Wednesday, has only practiced once since the game last Saturday. All about heart and toughness and care and all those things, but we have not seen the explosiveness by Yves so far today.
Looking for point number 1. That free throw wasn't really close. Senior out of France, 6'6", 215. As Jimmy said, he didn't play against Georgia with a sore knee. There's a couple of veteran players in the SEC. I think of Herb Jones. You think of Yves Pons that have been banged up here over the course of the season. This is not COVID related in any way. It's just more of the beating on their bodies. And these are two guys that are impactful players.
This guy can fix any problem defensively for Tennessee as an off-ball defender.
Herb Jones in Arkansas, you may have mentioned, they got a big game on ESPN2 at 4 against Missouri. Should be an interesting test for the Razorbacks.
Wait, Herb Jones transferred to Arkansas?
I'm sorry, I meant to say Alabama, but Arkansas has got the big game against Missouri. But good check by you on me. Good. I'll try to sneak those things in every now and then.
That is breaking news right there. That helps Arkansas a lot going down the stretch.
Right out of the portal, right to Alabama, to Arkansas.
Nate Oates, Eric Musselman, Roll Tide, Go Hogs.
Separated at birth, Oates and Musselman. That we've established. They are the same people.
Tough shot, good shot, man.
That shot is Gaines.
He is very athletic. Gaines is, man, just a fast athlete that can guard you, can drive it.
It's 12. Tennessee's got to be careful here. 3 ball. That one is off the rim. Fulkerson grabs it. Boy, how rare is that? You see a guy go by somebody in three-point land. He often will shoot it. Instead, Josiah took 2 steps in and made it 2.
Yeah, that's it. That's the old school. Rick Barnes getting warned by the officials. That's the old school ball fake, take up the slack, knock down a 17-footer. That's how it was in the 80s and the 90s when I played. Kind of gone away. Yeah, you don't want Tennessee, if you're in that 12, 13, 14-point deficit, is trying to hang in there 10 or less. Gains a really strong drive. Actually, it's more of a fast drive than a strong drive the last time. Watch Gain just messing with the ball and boom, go. Right at the end of this play. Go by. That's a speed drive as much as anything.
Pat Adams and Rick Barnes aren't exactly seeing eye to eye.
It's been a very physical half. And you look down there at Tennessee with only 2 fouls, LSU with 3. It tells you that this crew right here is kind of seeing the game as we're going to call the big boy fouls. It's a battle for second place in the SEC. You just keep battling. Do not flinch. Watch behind.
Gaines 2 points were the first 2 by anybody that came off LSU's bench. Fulkerson will kick. James. Open 3, can't get it to go. Pons had it. Oh, he had it stripped by Smart, but they call a foul. And that's Adams right in front of Barnes' bench who made the call.
You know, Ravi, Tennessee 8 out of 22 from the three-point line, so they're shooting 36%. I said this might be a game where Tennessee's going to have to launch 26, 27, maybe 28 of them. But Tennessee, if they're going to shoot those threes that LSU's going to give them, they also have to get long rebounds and find some dirty points in this game as well. You can't do that, man. Baseline out of bounds under.
Smart, that's a bad pass. Usually I say tough, that was a bad pass. Keon Johnson will stay with, no, it was not going to stay with Tennessee. On the baseline, looked like Tony was going to call it for Tennessee. Instead, Pat Adams said the other way.
Tennessee has not been overall strong with the ball. I know they only have 9 turnovers in this game so far, but time and time again, man, the deflections, the bothering of the ball by LSU has bothered Tennessee. Cam Thomas working off those pin downs, catch and shoot.
He got hit. Keep it on the floor before the shot. Now, Jimmy, this just speaks to the SEC, does it not? The inconsistency of Tennessee, who's been pretty consistent most of the year. But today, they're not doing much right. LSU's leading by 10. We're under 8 with the SEC on ESPN. And that is a mistake by James. Thomas on the inbounds gets hit, and he will go to the stripe.
You know, interesting. Yeah, just get lost, man. Fake one way and come back the other. Interesting. Bob Knight has told several people that the one thing he would change as a coach, if he could do it again, is to play zone on baseline, out of bounds under. Just to take away all that type of stuff, all that action that you spend so many minutes of your practice time preparing for out of bounds under situations from game to game. I wonder why more teams don't do it. Danger time, Thomas. Right, Ravi? For Tennessee,
yeah,
danger
I thought it was, yeah, they were down 12. I thought it was a danger time for them. It's a great time for LSU. Look, LSU took it a little bit on the chin right out of the half, and they were able to withstand that, and now have increased that lead again back to 13.
Will's got to be really pleased.
Some high fives, Jimmy. He had that play drawn up out of the
Yeah, absolutely. But more importantly, LSU's defense today has been as good as I've seen it. And I ask you, can they carry it over from one half to the next? Yes. Can they carry over from one game to the next? I don't know. But Will Wade, again, I'll say, he now has a film he can put on with his guys and say, you tell me why this is not us every single game. And there's no correct answer.
That's no good, Jimmy. They wasted a chance again, and here's Thomas one-on-one right by Vescovi. Vescovi's speed's been a little exposed in this game by Javonte Smart. Play like that, they get by him, I wouldn't say easily, but he gives up an advantage to these guys that blow by him.
Yeah, because that was just that wasn't even a full speed run out by Cam Thomas.
No. The thing about Tennessee, we know, they play defense. They can shut you down.
Yep. That double up drag action. You know, Will Wade, it's a quick hitting offense. I mean, if you're LSU right now, take good shots, which that was not, and get to that third or fourth pass right now. You're up 13. You want to stay aggressive, but stay aggressive in the right ways. Tennessee got called for a hold. Yeah, Thomas gets out in front from the get-go. He won the first 3 steps because he was cheating that way as the ball was shot. Now, guys are wired to score, and they sniff those kind of plays out. And Thomas did.
Lights out second half for the Tigers. Thomas has got 19. Haynes has had some productive minutes, too, with his dribbling and his ability to score in the paint. They got 8 on the shot clock. He steps through and throws up a bad shot. But look at Days take it away from Bronze and Fulkerson. And then a turnover for Tennessee.
The most important guy for LSU is Darius Days. It's not Watford. It's not the third leading scorer in college basketball, Thomas. It's not the older point guard, Smart. It's that dude right there, because he does the stuff that no one else for LSU wants to do, like when the big boy rebounds on the backside of the play. Now he comes out with that blur screen, jet screen, smoke screen, ghost screen. A lot of different terminology for that fake screen action. LSU calls it a trigger screen because it triggers a lot of their work. Look at the crowd again, man. It's all game long.
That's right. 3 guys around him. He had 3 guys around him on defense. Threw up an air ball. But if you get 3 guys around you, Jim, and there are 5 guys out there, doesn't that mean somebody's open? If not 2 people?
Yeah, that ball's got to keep moving. Will Wade's reaction. I mean, he knows right now he's got a chance. It's a battle for second place. And you got Tennessee on your home floor. You've had some success against them the last couple of years. Can they close this thing out? At times LSU will self-destruct with bad shot selection, get a tee sometimes they shouldn't be getting. Man, stay locked in right now if you're LSU and get you a really good win.
We had Kumwa into the game, Springer and Johnson on the left side. That's a takeaway by Darius Days.
How many times have we seen a similar play over the last hour and 40 minutes of our life? An orange jersey surrounded by 3 white jerseys. LSU continues to put LSU in a crowd, or Tennessee in a crowd.
Tough take. Thomas off the window. After the bucket, a timeout from Rick Barnes. Jimmy, this has grown to 15.
Yeah, and this is also a special play. Going to your left, jumping off your right, through the contact. Again, his pop and his jump shot and his pop around the rim. Hard to guard, Ravi. Just simply hard to guard.
Jimmy Dykes, Carl Ravitch, 68-53. Tennessee was down 32-33. About 19 to go, but LSU has been great. 35-21 advantage since. Tennessee goes full court pressure and a walk on Watford.
Only the 9th turnover for LSU in this game, so they've been clean on that end. They've also applied clean pressure to Tennessee with their defense. LSU still only 5 fouls in this half.
Barnes threw it up. That's short. Johnson's there for the rebound. Here's that press again. And another turnover. So the press just got him rattled a little with 2 successive turnovers.
Yeah, at some point, you as a coach, you've got to change the game. That's what Rick Barnes has done that 5-minute mark on. Just knowing that if this thing just stays in the normal rhythm, that we're going to go back to Knoxville with a loss. So changing it up, if they have enough time now.
Hold on, Cam Thomas.
Let me give you 2 names, Ravi, that can coach as well as anyone in the country that we don't talk about. Lon Kruger at Oklahoma, Porter Moser at Loyola. Those 2 guys can coach the game as well as anyone that we have. One of them towards the end of his career in Lon, and Porter still just at the midway point. But man, them 2 dudes can coach.
You know who does get talked about, but probably not the way he should, and what he's done with that Ohio State program, is Chris Holtman. Like, if I were thinking of a hot coach, he'd be the guy.
Yes.
You see that all the time in football. In basketball, he feels like the commodity. If there was let's just say, a marquee basketball program like there is in Alabama in football, his name would be one that would always come up. And and Ohio State is a marquee program. I'm not suggesting it, but he's that hot. To me, he's that guy.
All he's done is win. Yeah, he left as a head coach at a low major school to become an assistant at a high major. Man, has it paid off. And he's kind of cut out of that same. I described Tony Bennett in the first half as gracious and humble, but just absolutely figures it out.
Yes.
I see Chris in the same way. Very similar to you. Humble, gracious, always deflecting to someone else.
Did you say similar to me? Is that what you said?
Yeah, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. That's true, and it's taken a few years for you to get there, but it's no I, there's no me here. It's always about the team, always about making you better. How many Emmys do you have now?
Nominated for 2. Yep. Lost twice in a row.
That's all right. We're getting nominated. Next year we'll win it.
Oh, elbow. Didn't get called.
He didn't get called. And how about that effort? And hands are flying from LeBlanc. Loose ball. It got physical there. And LeBlanc's hands just started flailing. Great block. And then he went after that loose ball.
LSU has played with an anger today about him. And it's really from the opening minute. You just kind of sense the importance of this game. Watch this.
First he takes an elbow, Jimmy. Then he steals the ball. Then the block. And then watch the hand. Now we're going wild. Hands are going crazy. We'll continue with the SEC right here on ESPN. Our exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy, the official sponsor of Getting Stuff Done. Last 3:58 to come. Another Emmy for Dykes. At least a nomination on the way. Take a look at Joe Lunardi's bracketology, guys. Kansas and Carolina, and the more important story, at least in the minds of the blue blood lovers, they're not there. Duke, Kentucky, Michigan State currently out, Jimmy. Here, 68-56, under 4 to go. Darius Days playing with 4 fouls. It was Days who picked up the foul the last time down, not Thomas, and that's a turnover with that press defense in the full court.
3 out of 4 times now Tennessee has slapped on this full court pressure. Something good has happened for the team in orange. I would almost add Indiana to that list of teams that are out or should be out or could be out. Indiana now 11-9 after that loss today. Keep an eye on that one as well. How crazy would it be for the NCAA tournament to be right in Indiana's backyard 2.5, 3 weeks and to not be in it?
It would be 2021 appropriate is what it would be.
It would. Tough shot.
On the baseline, Vescovi floating out of bounds, knocks it down. It's a 10-point game. Tough pass.
Boy,
Thomas, boy, looked like that Keon Johnson or Springer was just a little late in his reaction time. Jimmy, that was a 50-50 ball.
Just a half step slow on the rotation, or it would have been back-to-back turnovers. Come. Oh, man, just Springer just didn't quite see it enough because the trap was perfect. Forced that high school Harry pass out of it, and it was there to be had.
High school Harry pass or high school Harry? Like just a typical guy that plays on your team who makes bad passes?
Yeah, I mean, like in gym class, in PE, we played when it was basketball time. You always had a guy, it seemed like, named Harry that just threw passes like that. You're like, oh my gosh. Do you remember that? Do you have a guy like that from PE days? You know that the PE teacher makes the teams. You look over, you're like, oh man, we got a Harry.
I'm trying to think of, there's everybody that's watching this game is thinking of their own high school Harry now, or middle school Harry. Every one of them. It's too bad.
Good spin down the lane.
Back to 10. They get it over. Tough pass, good catch, and the drive blocked by Pons. That's one of those decisions you're making and you realize just about a step and a half away from the basket. Not my best call today.
Stay aggressive, Tennessee. Just stay aggressive and keep guarding if you're LSU and clean up the miss.
That's cool. Well, can't get it to go.
Yeah, you take it in on the best shot blocker in the SEC over the last couple of years. That's just a bad decision. There's just not near enough lift out of Hyatt to get past Pons with sore right knee or no sore right knee. He's going to get that every time.
That Hyatt only has 2 floors on it, Jimmy. That's not one of the big hotels. Take it up against Pons. I figured that one might sail over your head, so I almost hesitated. I did, then I delivered it, but I heard a little chuckle, so I think he got it. Duke and NC State, that is part of our double ACC hitter. We've got a matchup on ESPN on the app, so it's them at 4, and then Virginia, who's been great. Tony Bennett has figured out this club that he's got now. They host 12-6 North Carolina in Charlottesville. Pretty challenging 3-game stretch for the Tar Heels. With Carolina State and I think Louisville next on the schedule. Tennessee hasn't shot well enough to win this game, Jimmy. That's ultimately what it's going to come down to. They just have not been able to execute their shots.
No, and to back that up, a combination of this has not been their best defensive game.
Yep.
And sometimes that happens. I mean, sometimes just defensively, you weren't alert, you weren't alive, you didn't execute the plan, couldn't guard the elbows, all the things that Tennessee's been so good at, not so good today. And LSU's taking advantage of it like you should.
Great effort there by both LeBlanc and Watford on the offensive glass. Gets him another 20.
Think about Tennessee's defense. They've only allowed 3 players to go for 20 points or more coming into today. And LSU has 2 guys, Thomas and Smart, that have hit that number. So the individual defense, the team defense, Volunteers are not bringing with them on their plane ride last night from Knoxville.
Volunteers shooting 35% today from the floor. The Tigers shooting 52% from the floor. And Rick Barnes is shaking his head. Think about what Tennessee generally allows, a field goal percentage of about 44%. So they're 8 percentage points higher than that.
Well, the 2 toughest teams.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ravi.
I was going to say, I know you can't read his mind, but this is one of those perplexing games. Unless you assign it to relying on freshmen. They've been so great lately, and in spite of the points that they've scored, that's a hard to rely on, especially when you came into this season. When you think about the Volunteers, it was Vescovi, it was Pons, it was Fulkerson. And while he's wanted Springer and Johnson to be aggressive all year, it does feel like they've moved into another category where there's a more reliance on those 2 guys. And when you do that, they're freshmen, maybe you have games like this.
No, absolutely you do. And Tennessee cannot be what I think Tennessee's capable of being if Pons and Fulke don't shake themselves out of it. Look up at the numbers today. Pons with 3 points, Fulke with 4. That's supposed to be your 2 most consistent dudes that right now just have not produced the last 2 or 3 ball games.
Yeah, Johnson picks up his 4th foul. A good break of the press. Cam Thomas, who threw it down the other end. And Darius Day is your guy who's sort of been the mixer in all of this. Set up Hyatt for what would have been a dunk. Instead, it's a free throw made. Good point, too. Fulkerson has 8 points in his last 3 games.
Yeah, just something's not right with Fulke. And it's absolutely not about his care factor, his try factor, all those things. But just his game right now, there is no game. Like, what is he doing for you on the floor? He's not winning the speed plays, the body plays, the physical plays bother him. Just really out of sync and out of rhythm are the 2 most experienced guys, not only that Tennessee has, the 2 most experienced guys in this league, period. Fulke and Pons have played as many minutes as anyone in the SEC.
deflected out of bounds, and it'll stick with Tennessee. But this one is all but over with 90 seconds to go and a 16-point win for LSU. What does the win do for LSU? I know you keep harping on if Will Wade wants to take out the tape. This is the game tape to show him moments in the first half. How important a win is it for the Tigers?
Well, they came in today, according to Joe Lunardi, as a 10 seed. And you're getting a quad 1 win, and so you could move yourself up a slot. But really, Ravi, the bigger picture is Will Wade now could and should and can hold his guys accountable for what they should be doing on the defensive end. There's no excuse for the athleticism they have, the experience they have, the length that they have, the foot speed that they have to not defend. And they showed it today. They swarmed that basketball. They time and time again, they ran to the ball. They did it without fouling. And if LSU decides this is who they're going to be over the last 4 months, I think that's Tennessee ball. I think Hyatt was the last one to get it. But if LSU decide, you know what, this is who we're going to be the remaining part of this year, they will be a tough out, not only in Nashville, but in that NCAA tournament. Because offensively, one of the top 5 or 6 teams in the country.
They have Auburn, they have Georgia, and they have Arkansas still on their schedule. The Florida game that was postponed back on a couple of weeks ago, it was the tweener between Alabama and Mississippi State. Saturday game against the Gators was canceled. So this is what they have left, just based on records. The Arkansas game, since it's at Arkansas, appears to be the most difficult, but you could easily suggest 3-1 those 4.
Absolutely.
3-1. They win this game today, so it'll improve to 13-6, 8-4 in conference. Then you go 3-1. You know, you're 11-5 in the conference.
You know, and LSU did this today without a big game from Watford. He had 9 points. Javonte Smart, to me, he set the rules of the game in terms of how it's going to be played the first 4 or 5 minutes. He was a downhill driving, winning the war at the elbow guard early. And when you can win without one of your best players having a big game and a tough game, and that's a sign of a good team. And LSU has that about them.
So we got 4-degree temperatures moving into Arkansas. How close do you have to sit to the gas fireplace in order for it to warm you? And do you put your onesie on? Like, are you wearing the onesie the entire time?
I'm just telling you, that's not a candle that I have downstairs in the living room. That's a full-blown gas fireplace. Starts on command when the batteries are charged. And I have to turn it off during the game because it puts out so much heat, and heat rises. It gets the office upstairs too hot. I'll Google some stuff for you and send it after the game, because you're behind the time with that kindling that you were buying yesterday to start a real fire.
Days gets that to go. I just asked, and you avoided the question. Do you don the onesie the entire day? And how do you run in it if you're going to run and stay with your commitment to running every day in a onesie?
What a performance by LSU on both ends. I'm having some audio issues with you, Ravi, right now, so I'll just take it. Their defense, LSU, was on point. They never got away from swarming the ball, seeing their man, and being early to the point of attack. And on the offensive end, a lot of possessions, man. They drove the ball through the elbow or through the nail, kept the ball off the side where Tennessee is so good with their defense. And Will Wade's going to feel really good about his guys walking off this floor in the PMAC.
Tonight's player of the game brought to you by Pedialyte. It's Javonte Smart, 20 points, 8 of 13, 5 rebounds. Jimmy, can you hear me?
I can now, yes. You're back.
Pedialyte generally something that you give to a dehydrated person. Babies, they wear onesies. Again, the question before we sign off here, will you be wearing the onesie all day?
On Monday, there's a really good chance. There's a really good chance.
4 degrees in Arkansas. Really good win for LSU today. Outstanding from the floor, shooting over 52%. Thomas, 25 points. Smart, 20 points. And back to the drawing board for the Volunteers after what looked like a snap out of it type effort. They ran the ball well. They had 22 fast break points in that game against Georgia. They had 8 today.
I have faith in Tennessee, though, going forward. They didn't shoot the ball well today. I thought they got some good looks that didn't drop for them. I know that Rick offensively has kind of got the game a little bit more simpler, got him more in an aggressive mode. Didn't quite play out today. And you look up, and LSU is going to be, I believe, in second place. Maybe not all by themselves, but in really good shape to get hot at the right time heading into Nashville.
LSU will improve to 8-4. Arkansas and Tennessee. Tennessee will go to 7-5. Arkansas, of course, playing today in a big game against Missouri. Herb Jones is with Alabama. He's off to a good start for the Crimson Tide.
Well, Vol Twitter, you know I love you. I couldn't help you with your offense today, but appreciate you hanging with us. You'll be back. Hang in there, Big Orange.
What it does do, though, I think, Jimmy, it continues to harp on this. It sets up the most unpredictable SEC tournament we've had in a long time. That should be fabulous. 78-65 is the final score. Final thought from Mr. Onesie. What do you got?
LSU was really good on both ends. They were the better team today, and Will Wade go put the film in and say, this is who we need to be all the time defensively. We'll be terrific.
Enjoyed it. Stay warm, Jimmy. Doug Sherman, Corey Alexander in Raleigh, Duke NC State. I'm Carl Ravitch. So long, everybody.